one talent that I obviously didn't have this bit, just collecting magnificent friends. And I'm deeply grateful to all of you. Cheers.
I've been feeling like Roger hasn't been roasted quite enough. So I just have a few things I'd like to say. I know where you live too. Can't find it. First of all, as you all know, with such a perfect name as he has, Roger had the choice of two careers as a child. Either could become a string player or a pirate. And you see him in the sailor suit with Santa Claus over here, clearly having a hard time with that choice. But since he chose string player, I'd like to say a few things, and if you're in agreement with what I say, just every so often, we'll all say as people in the airline industry just say, Roger. First of all, Roger, I don't think I know anybody who's so insanely besotted with music. It's really a pleasure to be around because of that. And this kind of insane devotion to music has led to a rather deep knowledge. And how many of you have asked Roger a hard question about an opus number or a year of composition and had him know the answer? In addition, Roger, or maybe because of this insane drunk on music quality, Roger's become one of the best writers about music. It's kind of right. And many of us, I think, have enjoyed not only that he's one of the few people to write about music that actually leave you feeling like it's going to help you with the musical relationship, but reading his sentences alone is such a great pleasure. And I didn't have time to find one of his musical sentences, but I wanted just to reread one that he sent us all recently so that we could all bask in this pleasure. I don't think anybody else could make a sentence like this. I don't think anybody could find it. Wait. 10 years ago, when I got on board the slow train to Geezerville, I sent out a little poem humorously celebrating, at least I smiled, the unlikelihood of my having thus far survived my fast and injudicious youth, cataloging the signs of impending age, and craving one's attendance at a party. What can you say to that? No one else could do that, and that's only one sentence.
You're right.
All right, the next question is, how many of you have profited from Roger's book recommendations? I'd like to see a show of hands for that. I found out about The English Patient from him. Just shout out some other books that you wouldn't have known about.
Naughty Nurses, Volume 3.
Naughty Nurses, yeah. Unsuitable Boy.
I just want to say a little bit of a scary word about Roger's work as a teacher. I think it's kind of daunting to think about all the liberal arts majors who are now out in the world doing God knows what kind of damage because they took cello lessons from Roger. And I also think we have to praise Roger as a family man. One of the things we all hope for our friends is they'll be able to leave the world a little better than they found it. Roger is laboring under a huge deficit in this regard because he has added to the stock of tenors in the world. But I think in many ways he's made up for that. He's nearly even with some of the other things he's contributed. We'll get to that in a minute. I think many of you know that he refers to his wife affectionately as the ball and chain. I'd like to recall one tender moment that reminded me of how dedicated he is to his family when we had an extent, we called them programming meetings, but actually lots of other things went on in these. And this particular programming meeting had gone on into the wee hours. And Roger became worried that Wendy might wake up in the middle of the night and find that he wasn't there and become panicked. And so, good husband that he is, he phoned her up, woke her up, so that she wouldn't be awakened later, and he reported to Wendy that he was in a ditch, and that everything was fine, not to worry. And to Wendy's credit, I think she just said, "That's fine, dear." And my impression is that one of the things that's made this marriage work so well is that Wendy continues to be entertained. Finally, I'd just like to say a word that I stole from Roger's website about his activities as a Luddite. He defines himself as a Luddite and says on his Facebook page, "I have a strong Luddite strain. Straight razors, fountain pens, LPs, and wind-up 78 players, bow ties, a 91 560 SEC, left-wing politics, probably the most outdated thing of all, although this is an old post, isn't it? But I am pleased to use air conditioning, TiVo, and antibiotics when I need them." Roger, on behalf of all of us here, we'd like to thank you for the amazing contributions to the pleasure we've taken in our lives, literary, musical, and just sheer entertainment value. I think over the years, the entertainment value of the various kinds of facial hair that you've sprouted has been amused. And I think I'd just like to quote now with one of Roger's favorite quotes, also from his Facebook page. This is from Vivian Stanshall's answering machine message. "If you're going to say anything filthy, please speak clearly."